Hello everybody and welcome to this edition of Cooking with Peter. Today I'm going to be cooking one of my favorite meals, which is meatloaf. However, it's going to be a little different because we're going to be using the Ninja Woodfire Grill and preparing wood-fired meatloaf. Okay, we're going to turn on the Ninja Woodfire Grill, and to do this I'm going to set this grill to smoker, and then I'm going to set the temperature up to 325 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and set the timer at 4 hours, which is the default, but it won't take anywhere near that. I'm going to put the pellets in the grill, just like that. You can see that on the smoker setting, the igniter is already ready, and now we're just going to press start. It'll take about 15 minutes for the grill to get ready. And by the way, this time I'm using the griddle of the Woodfire Grill and not the grill plate. Okay? There we go. Okay, I'm going to go over the ingredients with you today that we're going to be using in this great meatloaf dish. And here are some of the seasonings we're going to be using. I'm going to be using smoked paprika. That's one of the seasonings. Also, I'm going to be using this Weber Gourmet Burger seasoning. That's something unusual. You haven't seen that probably. And also I'm going to try out this Ninja meatloaf seasoning. I'm going to try that one out as well. We're going to have about 1.5 cups of chopped celery, diced celery, about 1.5 cups of diced and chopped carrot. That's going to give it some sweetness. 1 chopped large onion. We have 2.5 cups of panko crumbs. We have a couple of tablespoons of garlic, 3 eggs, and about 10 ounces or so of milk. Now, we also have about 1.5 pounds of ground chuck, and we also have 1 pound of ground pork. I'll be mixing all these items together, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, I'm going to be putting this meatloaf together for us today, and I'm going to be using the best mixers that I have available, my hands. So I put some gloves on. To put this together, I'm just going to mix these up. And then I'll be putting the seasonings in here, just sprinkle on. Just like that. I'm going to be adding the celery, the carrots, the onions, sorry about that. We have the garlic. And then I'll be putting that in just a moment. I just want to mix this up a bit and get this working. Remember, when you're making meatloaf, it's really important to compact the items in the meatloaf, because if you don't press really hard whenever you're putting a meatloaf together, it's going to kind of come apart whenever you go to cut it. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that as we mold the meatloaf. We have about 2.5 cups of panko. Let me start getting that in here. Crunch, crunch, crunch. We're also going to add in our eggs. I scrambled the 3 eggs just a bit, so we'll pour those in. That's going to help to bind the meatloaf together. Get all this working a bit. And now I'm going to add in our milk. I want to add the milk just a little bit at a time. I don't want to be using too much milk, and I will gauge that in a little bit as far as how the meatloaf is coming together. So I've only put in right now about maybe 3 ounces of the milk. But remember, we have 2.5 cups of panko breadcrumbs in here, and they are going to need some hydration. So I'll put in a little more. Also remember that the recipe for this is going to be in a link down below. So if you would like to download the recipe, you can do so. And then the link will take you over to our website. And there we have all the recipes from all of our shows right there. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, I really invite you to do that right now. Let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. And we have new videos coming out about one time a week. So we also have some shorts that come up more often, and you'll be able to see those as well. So go ahead and subscribe, and it really helps us out, and I appreciate you doing that. Okay, this is mixed together pretty well. And again, I did not use all of the milk that I told you because I feel that it's coming together very nicely, and we're going to leave the rest of the milk out. So I'm going to bring over my cutting board and show you how to put this meatloaf together and form a loaf onto the cutting board. And then we're going to be going out to the Ninja Woodfire Grill and get that great smoke flavor into our fantastic meatloaf. Okay, I have the meatloaf all mixed up, as you can see right here. So I'm going to make two different loaves because this is a lot of meatloaf. I'm just going to bring this over, and by the way, now you really want to compact, press down on the meat and bring it together. So unlike whenever you're making hamburgers, because with hamburgers you really don't want to compact the meat, otherwise they'll taste dry and hard. But with meatloaf, it's really important to do that, to press down and form them together. And I want to thank Louise from the Salted Pepper channel for bringing that up a while back, because that is really important to do, and I've done that a few times with making the meatloafs. So it's very important to compact, push down and bring it together, push down and bring it together. So that's pretty much that. And by the way, if you'll hang on till the end of the video, I have two special side dishes that go super well with meatloaf, and you'll want to see how I put those together. So now I'm going to wash my hands, and then we're going to come back, put some tomato paste on top of these, and then we're going to go out to the Woodfire Grill. We'll be right back. You might also be wondering why I'm using parchment paper, and this is simply because the parchment paper is going to help me get the meatloaf from the cutting board that I'm using here onto the grill. So that's why I'm using this. I don't really need this on the grill because the griddle is non-stick, but this is going to help me move it, and that's why I use this. Now, a lot of people use barbecue sauce on top of their meatloaf. This is not the flavor profile that I'm going for. I want the old grandma style meatloaf, and to me, my grandmother and my mother both used tomato paste on top of the meatloaf, and all we're trying to do here is just kind of paint it on. Actually, I like it a little thick, to be honest with you. I like that, and it brings back really good memories for me, as opposed to having the barbecue sauce on there. Again, that's just not the flavor profile that I'm particularly going for. All right, so I'm just going to smear that on top, and this is also going to get really nicely into the meat out there on the Ninja Woodfire Grill. And I'll smear it here, and again, pretty thick on top. And then we're almost ready with that to head to the grill. The grill's been heating up right now for about 15 minutes while we got the meatloaf ready to go. And there we have it. All right, good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just good old home-style meatloaf, one of my favorite meals, I think, in the whole world. All right, we are now ready to go outside to go to the Ninja Woodfire Grill. So let's go out there and put these on the grill. Okay, as you can tell, the grill is ready to go. We're at 320, and the countdown has already started. You can see this beautiful smoke coming out of the Ninja Woodfire Grill. I'm going to be using the ThermoPro probe, and I'm not cooking this meatloaf to time. I'm cooking it to temperature, and I want it to cook to about 160 degrees. So I'm going to be watching this on my phone because this is all connected to my phone, and this is where I'll be knowing when it's time to come out and take the meatloaf off. We're going to go to 160. All right, so now, as I talked about before, I'm going to be using the parchment paper to move this over to here, just like this, and then it fits perfectly. I'm going to close this up. Let me move this out a little bit. And there we go. So now we're going to set this out. It's for going to 160, and it's going to take about an hour or so for that to happen. So we'll be back when this finishes. Okay guys, you can see that the Thermal Pro has hit 161, and the temperature I'm after is at least 160. I'm going to take the meatloafs off of the Woodfire Grill now, and it will continue to come up. You can see we're getting a lot of juice here coming off of the probe. So let me get these off the grill, and then we're going to go back inside and let them come up to temperature. Okay guys, as you can see, I've taken the meatloafs off of the smoker, and you can see there's quite a bit of juice here from the parchment paper. So I'm just going to fold that up and come back and get that. I'll shut off the Ninja Woodfire Grill right now. Just hit stop and come out and clean this mess up in a bit. We're going to go back inside and let the meatloafs come up to temp. All right, now we have taken our Ninja wood-fired meatloaf off of the grill and let it set for about 10 or 15 minutes. And now I'm going to slice this and show you how it turned out. One of the things I love about this is that I can smell the wood-fired smoke flavor coming up from the meatloaf right now, which is exactly what I was after. Now we're just going to slice the meatloaf. I love to make meatloaf sandwiches, one of my favorites, and of course the meatloaf with mashed potatoes, carrots, green beans. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. So that gives you an idea of how the meatloaf is staying together. It's not overcooked. I kept the temperature to 160 to 165. I have seen people go way over that. It's just going to dry out the meatloaf. So take it to 160, 165, and it's going to be good. All right, I'm going to plate this up for you, and we'll be right back. Okay, my friends, this is the completion of my Ninja wood-fired meatloaf. I've also made the two sides I told you about at the beginning, mashed potatoes and also honey glazed carrots that were made in the Ninja Speedy. I have all the recipes for this in the video down below in the links, and you can download those from our website. Just click the link and you can pick that up very easily and for free on our website. I do want to give you a few shout outs to some great people who have been kind enough to leave great comments. I appreciate them so much, and also let us know where they're watching the videos from. So I want to say hello to Derek from Webster, South Dakota, Robert from Prescott, Arizona. Robert, as you may know, I agree with you. Arizona is God's country. I lived in Arizona for over 30 years. I've been to Prescott many times, and I agree with you that it's a great place to be. Richard from Seattle, Washington. Again, Richard, I've been to Seattle many times. It's one of my most favorite cities. Ray from San Jose, California. Susan from Willow Springs, Illinois. And Susan and Fernando from London, England. I want to thank all of you for watching the video today. If you haven't already, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell so you know when our next videos come up. And do me a favor and leave a comment. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about the videos, and also let me know where you're watching the videos from, and I'll be sure to give you a shout out on the next video. Thanks for watching.